Hello, everybody, indeed. Welcome to Metanorn's mini-talk on Gargantia on the Virtuous Planet for Episode 7, A Soldier's Fate. I'm Jrow, joined by Foshizzle.
Hey!
And Sumairii this week.
Hello.
So we have an interesting episode of Gargantia to talk about. Let's start with where Episode 6 ended, which is the little moment between Red and Chamber and the whale squid that we see charging at each other from the end of the episode, and Red hugs it to death. Hugs a whale squid to death.
Yeah, it's pretty, I don't know, I guess it was like, oh, they're gonna, no, oh, he's just gonna hug it, okay. That's all they really did. I was expecting this dramatic fight, but yeah.
Yeah, I was actually wondering if he might, be able to defeat it for a moment, because, he tries several things initially, that gravity thing.
Mm-hmm.
That fails, he misses. And he tries the lasers, and apparently lasers don't work too well on water, understandably.
Yeah, and
And
Chamber
then he resorts to some good old-fashioned hugging.
yeah, give him a nice
Most
bear hug.
Effective weapon ever.
Yeah. So, with killing an enemy, as we saw with the pirates, there's always problems that are created whenever you kill something, and we'll get to that later. The first being that the whale squid is considered a sacred animal, and that killing it isn't exactly a good thing. Some people believe in the mythologies and such that it can cause a curse if you kill it without any good reason.
Yeah, that part was weird for me. I was like, it is, okay, he killed it, and he gets yelled at again. It's like, I swear, everything he does in the series gets yelled at for,
No killing.
Killing the pirates, it's like, okay, fine, I won't kill that. Killing the animal, okay, okay.
Well, I think in this case, it does make a little more sense more so than the pirates, because the pirates is kind of a moral thing. I'm thinking that with the whale squids, at least, it's possible that the Gargantian, the humans, have come across these things before, and they might have worked the hard way not to get on the wrong side of the squids, and so now it's kind of like if you face something and they make it sound like these whale squids are like an overwhelming force to be reckoned with, and considering they are the same as idiots, and that's probably for good reason. And considering if you're facing like these things that are just completely destructive, or they're much more powerful than the people, then you might it might do you good to kind of stay away and kind of treat them with respect. And maybe over time that has kind of given them sort of legendary, mythological, deified status, so to speak.
Yeah. And we'll talk about the repercussions of that as we progress through this podcast in our notes. And an analysis by Chamber with all of the, squid parts and stuff that got stuck to Chamber basically confirms that it is Helials as they originally thought, and that its exoskeleton had adapted to the environment. And Red starts to wonder if it's something that he brought back with him from when he was in battle, before having been sent through the wormhole to Earth.
Yeah, I think it could be a possibility. They just mentioned that, yeah, he said something that, because it was attached to him, wasn't it, when he went to the wormhole? So it's like, and he was asleep for about a couple months, they said. So it could have adapted, but it's like, to reproduce that fast, I'm like, that seems kind of crazy to me, but
yeah, it does.
Maybe it can reproduce with itself, and that's how they can make all like a massive army of whale squids.
Well, yeah, it is a possibility that he might have brought one back, or maybe a few back, and they could have multiplied. But I think just given the fact that the humans on Gargantia on Earth already know of the whale squids, I think it's more like, and it's probably the most obvious path that Gargantia can take, the show Gargantia can take, is that these are kind of, if not the ancestors, but like a similar branch of Hidias, and maybe this is the origin of the Hidias. I don't know. Maybe they were always on Earth, and some of them went to space with the space humans. They brought them along as a food source or something. I don't know. But I think that just given the fact that they've always been present, it's probably not the case that he brought one back.
Yeah, there's probably, if anything that he sent back might be elsewhere in maybe getting even stronger. Who knows? And all the fallout from this for Red and Bellows is that Rigid meets with them and basically reprimands them for killing the whale squid, and even Bellows takes responsibility for not warning him soon enough. And then this is where Red's soldier instincts start to kick back in. We haven't seen it for a little while, as we've been through a couple world building episodes and seen him adapt to the culture of Gargantia and get a little used to life there. His mind is really set now on the idea that his mission is to kill the Heaty Owls, and as long as he knows that Heaty Owls are on Earth, he is going to make it his goal to kill them.
Yep, regardless of what people say. Even if they're sacred beasts, he don't care. He's like, he's gonna kill all of them regardless.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Right. And I feel part of it might be because the humans and Gargantia did really a terrible job of trying to explain to him, why they don't want him to hurt the squids. Like, they just kept repeating, these are sacred animals. Oh, you'll anger more of them. And then he's just like, so what? I'll just kill them all. Why don't you explain to him that if they come the way of the ship, if they cross paths with the ships, then everyone will die or something. Instead of telling him, kill these animals because we tell you to, or don't kill them because they're gods or something.
Yeah, for him especially, he's just like, that's something foreign to him. He doesn't really understand protecting like a creature like that, because like I said, they're the enemy for him in space. So it's like, why are you guys protecting the alien creatures? So it's kind of, like you said, screwed up. They don't tell him anything.
Mm-hmm. And that's the differences in mindsets. Where Smiley, you mentioned about how Gargantia knew of these whale squids and knew that they're not to be messed with, whereas Red knows them completely different, that they are something to be killed. And then he meets with Bevels a little later, and that's where Red sort of explains to him that him and Amy are also in the room, mentioning that shoot, I'm missing the quote exactly. That the reason why the Heaty Owls haven't really been any kind of threat on Earth is that they're a very simplistic nature, they're a simplistic planet, and therefore they've generally been ignored by the Heaty Owls.
And that's actually an interesting point. Like, the Heaty Owls, I don't know, maybe it's just 'cause they look like squids, but but like they don't seem to be too intelligent like creatures to me. I mean, okay, they're obviously like very powerful physically. Like what would enable them to realize, hey, this civilization is advanced enough, let's attack them, Is like, are they too? I guess one thing is there was a big deal about noise, like that one super tense moment when this guy knocked over his wrench and the other guy caught it and was like, oh no. But like, I'm not sure if like noise. I mean, sure, I guess it makes sense that maybe noise pollution might be correlated with the advanced technological advancements of a civilization. But like, say you're in space, like there's not really noise. I mean, everyone knows the famous quote, in space no one can hear you scream. In space no one can hear your space robots fly by. So like, how do these squids know, assuming they're telling by sound or something? Like, I highly doubt they have technological radars,
Yeah, so I was like, so if someone like farted right there, they would all die. The squid would hear it and be like, oh my god, everyone dies.
And I thought I was going to make a bad comparison, because I was going to mention like High School of the Dead, where they're really kind of, they're brainless creatures, but they react to sound.
It's like a sponge or something. The creature, they're like, oh, zombie. It's like, yeah, okay.
Fart.
That's how if they dropped the wrench, it would have made it a little more, if it really did make a noise, and the squids did attack, and then Red could show them, hey, look, these are dangerous creatures, and they would believe him, but yeah, they didn't do that. It's fine.
But yeah, an effective strategy by Commander Fairlock there, as the pod of whale squids were swimming by the Gargantia to basically shut off all the power, turn off all the lights, everybody stay silent, no unnecessary sounds, and they just swim right by him as Ridget has to hold back Red with a gun so that he doesn't get in chamber and, go whale squid hunting.
You're gonna well squid killing spree. And then they had a short scene with Amy and him kind of like arguing a little bit. I was like, oh my god. Last week you guys were kind of like getting close. Now you're...
Yeah, she's kind of starting to lose him a little bit.
Yeah, so she's getting a little worried there too.
Yeah.
And I guess that's for a good reason, because at the end of the episode, supposedly he is leaving with, was it Pinion and the other guy, I forget his name already.
Flange. Yeah,
Flange, there we go.
It's something we've been seeing develop since the middle of the episode, that scene with Ridget and Red and Bellows, that they've been sort of planning something and now they're wanting to go their separate ways. They see what Red can do with Chamber versus a whale squid, and they see more opportunities to dig in areas and find more about the history of the planet, as opposed to everybody else who just thinks, well, you just stay away from whale squids.
Well, that's just what Pinion says to everyone. But like in that moment with Bellows, when he does that little shirt grabbing stunt, he does like very, very briefly mention his brother and wanting to avenge his brother. Now, I'm not sure if this is going to be like a real vengeance Moby Dick kind of thing, goes off hunting whales with his spear.
Yeah, it could be.
Squid whales and whale squids.
There's probably one with like a scar, and he's like, "That killed my brother. Now let's kill your revenge." There's probably a bigger one down there. I bet. I mean, the ocean's too big just to have just whale squids. Something else in
Mother
there.
of all whale squids.
Yeah, like the queen.
And in addition to the whale squids being there and potentially bigger ones, there's always the more history element, which Flange seems very much more interested in than Pinion, as Pinion has his own agenda on top of seeing Red as a valuable tool when going into these whale squid populated areas.
You can definitely see where all three of those, they kind of are using each other right now. Red's going to be using them to kill the squids. Opinion's using them to get treasure, and the other guy's using them to get history and more information on the past. So it's kind of weird seeing that, but it works, I guess.
Yeah, and in this meeting with the fleet, which closes off the episode, Commander Fairlock is very frustrated at these guys wanting to separate themselves from Gargantia, doesn't want to jeopardize the whole fleet, and in his frustration suffers a heart attack, and we see Ridget go to his side at the end of the episode.
Yeah, that was kind of weird. It's just like, but they did mention earlier in the episode that he is old. He's probably maybe the oldest one there. He's been there for a while. His health's really bad, so.
And I think we've mentioned before about the idea of Ridget possibly taking over as commander, because there is that scene in episode 3, I believe, where he was talking about Ridget and how her father was a former commander, and if there's somebody that we know of that could take his spot while he's absent or dies in the future, it would be her.
Bit of foreshadowing there.
Yeah, we have our first character death here probably next week.
Oh,
Just
boy.
say.
It's Urabuchi at work right there.
Yep, slowly.
But,
He's there.
But going back a little, actually, before Fairlock suffers his little hung attack, he does mention a bit that Flange kind of controls all of the defense forces, so to speak.
Defense force, yep.
And I'm thinking this might be a little cliche, but maybe what if Flange isn't really after like history? What if he's just after military technology?
Yeah, there probably is.
He sounds like the kind of guy who would want to kind of expand his arsenal, so to speak, for whatever reason. I don't know why he really. I mean, the only real threat is pirates. Assuming he also doesn't want to mess with whale squids.
Right. It's almost like when I go into a dangerous area, I kind of want someone to take care of those creatures while I do my business. So it's like, he almost needs Red as a bodyguard to help and get those, things like that.
And seeing all of the different perspectives of this sort of new alliance that we're kind of seeing formed with Red, Pinion, and Flange, is that everybody has their own agenda, and there's going to be moments I could see between Red and maybe Flange where there's some conflict, and things will really break bad at some point with this alliance.
Yeah, there might be some backstabbing going on too. Pinion finds something that he wants to sell, but Red wants to use it for a spaceship to get off the planet, and you can have arguments like that.
Right. I think it's also interesting that in the past, Pinion's always been the one who's been saying, get rid of Red. We can grab his robot for him.
Pretty much.
And then Flange, he hasn't been far too present, but I feel like he doesn't exactly have the best opinion of Red either. So I'm a little worried for Red. Maybe they might find some opportunity to get rid of him, not knowing that they can't quite just control Chamber, and then things will go massively downhill. Chamber whips out his good old lasers.
Yeah, I think it's said it before that Chamber is ready to protect Red at any moment if something happens to him. So if they did really physically hurt him, Chamber wouldn't let that fly really.
So the thing for Flange, especially Flange, I would say in this situation to consider, is to find the most ideal situation in which he can get what he wants while being able to capture Red and find some way to hold off Chamber.
Right.
It's going to be real tough. Alright, so after a couple episodes of swimsuits and belly dancing, which are good in their own right, good for world building.
I enjoyed the belly dancing.
Yeah, some parts. There were some animation shots that
some janky animation.
In the Blu-ray.
Some janky belly dancing.
Yeah.
Except for that private dance stuff. That was good.
Yeah, but overall, a nice episode filled with conflict and intrigue.
One of the thoughts I want to add is probably I'm kind of anxious to see what else is in the ocean besides whale squids. I kept thinking that the whale squids are probably the top of the food chain right now, but if they kill all of them, there's probably something else dangerous, even lower, that will come up to I guess overtake the squids. That's what I think anyway. There's got to be something else down there.
Evil.
Yeah.
All right, so for Fosh and Smiley, I'm Jrow. This has been our mini talk for Gargantia, episode 7. We'll see you next time.
See ya.
See ya. 寂しい